Welcome to r/Am I the Devil, where OP is literally worse than the Grinch. Our next Reddit post comes from r/Am I the Butthole. Am I the butthole for ruining Christmas for my kids growing up? I'm a 53-year-old man, and I've never enjoyed Christmas. I never enjoyed the decorating, or the shopping, or any of that. My wife always loved it. When we had our kids, Mark and Emily, who are now 25 and 23, I told my wife I didn't want to be involved in anything Christmas related, or wanted anything overly done in the house. I admit that sometimes I would complain the house was overly decorated and took things down, or I wouldn't let them do certain things. My wife and I had more than one fight about it. My wife passed on 3 years ago now. Last year, I was with Mark and his now wife, Amy. Amy really decked the whole house out. I made a comment that I thought it was funny that it looked like Christmas exploded in their house. Amy laughed and said she loved Christmas and enjoyed decorating for it. I told her that I thought that was a waste of time, honestly, and that the money spent on decorations could be spent on much better things. I asked Mark how he felt about that, considering we always put our money towards other things and didn't do things like that. I expected him to laugh, but he didn't. Instead, he told me he would have loved to do things like this growing up. But I never let them, and even though my wife tried to do fun Christmas-related things with them, I almost always found a way to ruin it for them. He said that he got it, I hated Christmas. That was my right. But it was awful that I tried to make them hate Christmas too. I said that I never tried to make them hate Christmas, but he argued that I was a Scrooge, and anytime they did anything fun or festive, I found a way to ruin it. My wife baked tons of cookies and treats. I didn't even let them have any. I just took them all to work. My wife wanted to take them ice skating. I made sure to find a reason they couldn't go. My wife wanted to take them to the Christmas parade our town had every year. I made sure to make plans on that day so they couldn't go. My son said that he and Emily loved Christmas and really enjoyed now being able to do everything they wanted to do as kids, but I wouldn't let them. I felt really attacked at this point and said that if he was so miserable, why didn't he ever say anything? He pointed out that he had, repeatedly, and that I just didn't care. I only cared about my view and that I wasn't willing to allow them to celebrate because I didn't want to, and that was selfish. I was pretty upset and told him I wouldn't talk to him until I got an apology for how rudely he spoke to me. He won't apologize, and our relationship has suffered because of it. I really don't think I did anything terrible here, but my daughter has agreed that I did make it hard to enjoy the holidays because of my attitude, and suggested I post here. Am I the butthole for not wanting to celebrate Christmas? Down in the comments, people are comparing OP to the Grinch, but the thing is, the Grinch only ruined Christmas on that one day, on Christmas Day. This dude ruined the entire month of December. Yo, what does this guy have against ice skating? Ice skating and Christmas aren't inherently linked other than they both happen during cold weather? Saliva Gant says, is OP a Hallmark movie villain? Yeah, I know, right? Also, one funny thing I find here is OP's username is Throwaway Christmas Problems. My brother, you are the Christmas problem. Our next Reddit post comes from r/relationship advice. I'm a 37-year-old guy and my wife is 33. We have a 4-month-old baby and the most beautiful relationship, except for expectations about my professional ambitions. I'm an ambitious and competitive person by nature. She knew this a year before we even started dating. I'm currently standing right in front of the best opportunities I've ever had in my job. And if I put the proper time and energy in, I can get our family from a comfortable position to a luxury position in about 2 to 4 years, which is very little time career-wise. After that, I have higher goals I want to achieve. I don't think or worry about retiring. I enjoy working. I get anxious when I'm not being productive, and I try to put my hobbies into constructive things, like documentaries, language studies, chess, etc. My wife's complaint is that this requires a couple of hours here and there to work on weekends and nights, which I enjoy. She complains I should help more with the baby, which I agree, and I take up her suggestions on how to do so. Although I understand she shouldn't guide me on how to do this. I should be proactive about it instead of depending on her demanding it. My argument is that the baby is only 4 months old. We're still figuring out everything as we go, and that if my career goes as easily as I can make it go, then that also benefits both her and the baby. For context, she's on parental leave since July and will be until March, when I'll start to be on parental leave until July, and then we'll take turns. We're currently on vacation, and I want to work a couple of hours per day. She won't let me, but not by force. She simply makes me feel so bad about it that I lose focus, I can't sleep, I get anxious, and I lose my appetite. And then she complains that I'm down, that I'm not treating her romantically during vacation, not spending enough time with our son. But I'm slowly getting depressed, and it's getting harder and harder to find the energy to enjoy any of those things. I wish she would be proud of having a partner who puts the effort, and in a way, she is. But her actions show the opposite. At this point, I'm hopeless on being able to count on her support. I asked her if I could at least have understanding since I'll never have her support, to which she insists that she does support me. But then again, I get speeches and criticism on a daily basis, up until the point that she's now implied 3 or 4 times that I'm not a good father to our son. She denies that, saying that's not what she meant on any of those occasions. We live in Sweden, but my upbringing was in Brazil. Here in Sweden, people are in general not ambitious. From my perspective, most people are lazy and self-entitled, complaining about the increase in the price of bread and eggs while having wine every weekend, and taking 1-month vacation in Dubai every year. As a Swede, my wife doesn't understand ambition, in my opinion, and I feel she wishes she had a husband who would stay home more, work 9/16 as most people here do, and not care about going the extra mile to make a better living long term. It's hard to explain the full context in a post, but it's getting bad. It's slowly hurting our relationship, and insecurity is starting to be felt on both parts. I'm not sure what my question is. I really just need advice from anyone who's been in a similar situation. I'm not a Swedish person, but doesn't Sweden have a whole bunch of super famous companies? I think Lego is from Sweden, and IKEA, and isn't Spotify also from Sweden? Yes, Spotify was from Stockholm. No, Lego is Denmark, my mistake. Yeah, and IKEA is also Sweden. So Sweden has plenty of very ambitious, successful people. I don't know what this guy's talking about. But, I've never been to Sweden. I don't know any Swedish people, so what do I know? The only core problem here is that OP is worried too much about work to actually spend time with his wife and kid. And, I guess he has a right to choose that if he really does prefer work over his family. But, dude, don't be surprised when those divorce papers come in. Our next Reddit post is from r/Am I Overreacting? Am I overreacting for building an AI chatbot of my ex-wife so my daughter can practice handling her outbursts? What? I'm a 30-year-old single guy, and I'm a software developer working in AI. I have a 12-year-old daughter who's in 7th grade. My ex-wife is extremely high conflict, narcissistic traits, volatile mood swings, and impossible circular arguments. My daughter struggles to communicate with her mother without getting crushed. She freezes up, cries, or gets baited into arguments that she can't win. I recently started building a custom MVP for a sentiment analysis tool. I don't know what that sentence means. I realized I had years of court-admissible text logs, emails, and transcripts from my ex. I cleaned the data and fine-tuned a local language learning model on my ex's communication style. The result is a text-based bot that mimics my ex-wife perfectly. The gaslighting, the guilt-tripping, the sudden topic switching. I set up a training dojo for my daughter. We sit down together, and I have my daughter type neutral requests to the bots. For example, "Mom, can I get picked up at 5?" The bot responds exactly how her mom would. "Oh, so I'm just a taxi service now? You're ungrateful like your father." Then I coach my daughter on how to reply. We practice gray rocking, which is being boring or unreactive, and setting boundaries. It's basically a flight simulator for emotional conflict. Since we started, her anxiety has dropped, and she handled a real-life phone call last week like a pro. I told my sister about this success, thinking she'd be proud. She was horrified. She called it Black Mirror psychological warfare, digital dehumanization, and she said that I'm teaching my daughter to treat people like NPCs. She said that I should delete the model immediately. I think I'm just using the tools available to protect my kid from emotional volatility. I'm not publishing the bot, it runs locally on my machine. Am I overreacting, or is this just modern parenting? Also, people dug through OP's post history, and apparently he had his custody cut from 50-50 to a half day a week and every other weekend. He also got arrested because he violated a temporary restraining order. So OP is what you would call an unreliable narrator. Am I the butthole for not thinking the joke my family played on my girlfriend was a big deal? I'm a 25-year-old man, and I have a girlfriend who's 23 who's absolutely beautiful, but she does have a large facial scar. My family often jokes about it. They have a super dark sense of humor. It bothers my girlfriend, and she says it doesn't feel like a joke. It feels like being insulted under the pretense of it being dark humor. Even though I explain it's just how they are and they don't mean any harm, she doesn't really want to be around them. I told her it was really important to me that we spend Christmas with my family. We would all quarantine first and test, but it was important to me. She resisted at first, but after some urging from me, she gave in. She said I absolutely could not excuse their behavior if they made a rude comment about her, though. We got there and it was fine, for a while. Then, my mom and sister broke out their matching ugly sweaters that had my girlfriend's face all over it. They both laughed, saying that my mom made them, screen printed, and it was just a joke. My dad thought it was hilarious. I even chuckled a little because she's really beautiful, so it was ironic they put her on the ugly sweater. My girlfriend looked at me, and when I said they were just being ironic, she shook her head, got up, and left. Didn't say anything to anyone, just took her car and left. I called her several times, and she didn't answer. The only text I received was, "You need to find your own way home." That pissed me off, and I called her a couple more times. The whole time, my mom was upset because it was just a joke, and she didn't realize my girlfriend was going to overreact like that. I told her that a warning would have been nice, but my sister agreed it was just a joke, and my girlfriend was being a baby about it. I had another fight with my girlfriend when I finally got home, and she said I was a butthole for putting her in that situation, and I said I didn't realize they were going to do that, and they were being ironic because she was beautiful. She said I let them treat her badly, and was just trying to make it her fault when it was my family who was acting badly. I said it was just a joke, and that she was overreacting. She asked how it was supposed to be a joke. I said that was just their sense of humor. I said I was sorry she was offended by the joke, but she ruined the whole day with her reaction. She said that no, them realizing she wasn't going to take their BS anymore ruined the day. We aren't speaking currently, but when a cousin called me to wish me a Merry Christmas and asked how the day went, I mentioned what happened, and he straight up called me a butthole for doing that to her. I don't really think I've done anything, though. I didn't know they were going to do that, and really it was just a joke, and I think she's overreacting. Am I really the butthole here? This guy's insistence on the argument that he didn't know that it was going to happen is so, pointless? What if the mom and sister had come out and just slapped the sister in the face? Well, I didn't know they were going to do that, so what do you want me to do about it? I mean, it has nothing to do with me. They didn't tell me they were going to slap her beforehand, so it's got nothing to do with me. What an idiot. What an actual genuine doofus. OP is a douchebag, and he comes from a family of douchebags. Our next Reddit post comes from r/relationship advice. My fiance blocked me. How can I get closure? Last year, I started going to this rock climbing gym, and I met the most amazing, beautiful woman, Crystal, that you'll ever meet. She's smart, funny, kind, and sweet. She has an aura that's unmatched by this entire universe. I started questioning everything I knew about love. I had a fiance, but my fiance never made me feel this way. Sure, I loved my fiance, but she never made me feel the way that Crystal made me feel. No woman ever did. Crystal is married, but she also never felt this way before. We knew we couldn't ignore this feeling, and we started dating each other. The relationship was the most amazing relationship I ever had. I called off the wedding, and Crystal said that she would divorce her husband, but it would take longer because they have a daughter and she has to get her house in order before she can leave. Unfortunately for her, her husband found out, and this blew up everything. While the timing wasn't what she wanted, I figured this was a blessing in disguise, and we could start our life together even quicker than we planned. I have a decent-sized house and had no problem with her moving in even before we got married. But that's not what happened. She blocked me on everything. I couldn't believe it. I called her from a Google phone to make sure she was safe, and she didn't answer and just messaged me saying, "Hey, please stop contacting me. I'm trying to work things out with my husband. I shouldn't have let it get this far between us, but I don't feel the same way about you. I'm sorry for everything." My heart stopped. I begged her to call me. She never did. When I make a number, she just blocks it. I'm hurt, confused, depressed. I just don't know, man. I don't know what this was to her. To me, she was the love of my life, someone that made me feel like a star. I realized that the love you see in those fairy tale movies that I thought was for show was actually freaking real, and that you can experience that in real life. She said that she felt the same, but if she did, would she treat me like this? Just block me with barely an explanation? I don't know, man. the top boasts. God, I love it when bad things happen to bad people. That was r/am I the devil, and if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.